The church doors slammed shut from the inside. The sound of a chain echoed through the silent church. 12 men turned at the same time. Heavy oak doors closed, locked, and Bumpy Johnson stood next to the coffin. He was smiling, a cold, knowing smile. "Gentlemen," he said, his voice reaching every corner of the church, "welcome to my funeral. Don't leave this story. You'll learn who gets buried in the end." October 1952. Stephanie St. Clair died at 55. Heart attack. Natural. Unexpected but not suspicious. Stephanie was Harlem's numbers queen. She'd built an illegal lottery empire from nothing in the 1920s. A black woman, an immigrant, with nothing. And she'd protected Harlem from Dutch Schultz, from the Italian mafia, from corrupt cops. In 1932, she went to Bumpy Johnson. "Protect my operation," she told him. "I'll make you the most powerful man in Harlem." Bumpy kept his word. For 20 years he protected Stephanie's empire, grew it. Now Stephanie was dead, and the Genovese family saw an opportunity. A meeting was held in Vito Genovese's social club in Little Italy. 5 capos sat at the table. "Stephanie's dead," said Tommy the gambler, a bully. "Bumpy's vulnerable, emotional. He'll be at the funeral, surrounded by civilians." "How many men do we send?" asked Anthony. "Tony Bender, Strollo." 12, Tommy said. "Professionals. They go in, open fire during the eulogy. Bumpy dies. Chaos. They blend in with civilians and escape." Silence. Then the oldest capo, Machella Mike Miranda, spoke. "Bumpy Johnson isn't stupid. He'll see this coming." Tommy grinned. "If he sees it coming, he won't be at the funeral." But he won't, because he really loved Stephanie, and emotional men make mistakes. The plan was approved. 12 hitmen were selected. Funeral day, October 19th, 1952, Sunday. Location: Abyssinian Baptist Church, 3rd to Genovese. But the Genovese family forgot something. Bumpy Johnson had learned more than business from Stephanie St. Clair. He'd learned to see 3 moves ahead. Bumpy found out 2 weeks before the funeral. A source from inside the Genovese family. The name doesn't matter. The source explained the plan. 12 men, church, during the eulogy. Bumpy listened quietly. Then he gave $5,000 and told the source, "Don't change anything. Don't report the plan. Let it happen." The source was confused. "But Miss Johnson, they're coming to kill you." "I know," Bumpy said. "Let them know too." Bumpy visited Stephanie's funeral director. "The coffin," he said. "The weight needs to be right. The appearance needs to be right. But Stephanie won't be in it." The funeral director hesitated. "Miss Johnson, this is disrespectful. When Stephanie was alive, she was a tactician." Bumpy said, "In death, she'll be one too. She would approve." The director nodded. The coffin was prepared. Inside, 200 pounds of sandbags, a clothing mannequin, Stephanie's favorite perfume. The real body of Stephanie St. Clair had been buried in a private ceremony. Only Bumpy and 3 trusted people knew. The coffin in the church, a stage prop. 12 hitmen were coming for a funeral. But the real funeral was going to be theirs. October 19th, 1952. Abyssinian Baptist Church was full. 800 people. Stephanie St. Clair was loved in Harlem, respected. The ceremony would start at 10 a.m. Bumpy had arrived early, 7:30. He checked the church. Side doors locked. From the inside, windows closed, shutters down, main doors open. For now. In the church basement, Bumpy's 20 men waited, armed, ready, silent. The plan was simple. When the ceremony started, lock the main doors from inside. When the hitmen were trapped, emerge from the basement. Bumpy gave his men clear instructions. Nobody dies, but everybody remembers. 9:45 a.m., 3 black sedans parked in front of the church. 12 men got out, suits, ties. They looked respectful, but all of them were armed. Tommy Galante was the leader, 38 years old. He'd killed 14 people. They entered, separately, to avoid attention. They scattered to different parts of the church. Tommy sat in the middle, 5th row, 2 men in the back, near the doors, 4 men on the sides, in the aisles, the others in front and center, blocking escape routes. At 10 a.m., the ceremony began. The pastor came to the pulpit. "Dear brothers and sisters, today we gather to bid farewell to Stephanie St. Clair." Tommy checked his watch. The plan: fire during the eulogy, when the ceremony peaked, when Bumpy was speaking. 10:32 a.m. Bumpy walked to the pulpit. When Bumpy stepped to the pulpit, the 12 hitmen moved their hands to their jackets. But the next 10 seconds would change all their lives. Bumpy approached the microphone. "Stephanie St. Clair," he said, his voice calm and controlled, "didn't just teach me how to be a boss. She taught me how to think, how to see 3 moves ahead." He paused. His eyes scanned every corner of the church, and he looked into the eyes of each of the 12 hitmen. "And today," Bumpy said, "her final lesson comes true." He gave the signal. Slam. The church doors crashed shut. The sound of chain echoed. 800 people turned. The doors were closed, locked from the inside. Tommy Galante jumped to his feet. His hand went to his jacket. But the doors wouldn't open, and the basement door opened. 20 men emerged. In their hands, bats, chains, pipe wrenches. Not guns, but lethal. Bumpy still stood at the pulpit. "Gentlemen," he said, looking at the 12 hitmen, "welcome to my funeral." Tommy drew his gun. "Back off, Bumpy, or we kill everyone." Bumpy smiled. "No, Tommy, you won't, because if you and your men fire, 800 people in this church will tear you to pieces and will send your bodies back to Genovese in those 3 sedans." Silence. Tommy's hand trembled. He looked around. 800 faces, all staring at him, with anger, with hatred. Harlem protecting its own. Tommy lowered his gun. "What do you want?" Bumpy stepped down from the coffin, walked slowly toward Tommy, stopped, 2 steps away. "Put your weapons on the ground. All of you. Now." The 12 hitmen looked at each other. Then one by one they drew their weapons and placed them on the floor. Bumpy looked at Tommy. "Now," he said, "you're going to take a message to Genovese." What Bumpy was about to say would keep the Italian mafia away from Harlem for 15 years. Bumpy raised his voice. Everyone heard. "You sent 12 hitmen to Stephanie St. Clair's funeral. 12 men came to turn a civilian ceremony into a bloodbath." The church was silent, but Stephanie didn't die. "Stephanie taught me one final lesson. The more confident your enemy feels, the easier they fall into the trap." He pointed to the coffin. "Stephanie isn't in that coffin. There are sandbags." 800 people were shocked. 12 hitmen froze. The real Stephanie was buried 2 weeks ago. Private ceremony, with family, in peace. Bumpy turned to Tommy. "You and your men came for an empty coffin. You're leaving with an empty threat." Silence. "Go to Genovese and tell him, next time Harlem sends 12 coffins, full ones." The doors opened. 12 hitmen walked out, unarmed, in shame. The streets of Harlem watched them. Children, women, old people, all watched silently. The Italian mafia had come to Harlem, and they were going back empty-handed. Tommy Galante never forgot that day. When he was killed in 1967, his killers asked him, "Any last words?" "Bumpy Johnson was right," he said. "We should never have gone to Harlem." Harlem didn't forget. Remember that in the next story.